Jesus, how old did Jesus die?
33.
Let me give you a typical example. John the Baptist. What was his purpose?
Announce Jesus.
It was just to introduce somebody to somebody. That's his identity. His identity was the forerunner. He was the one that would come and announce him. And once he announced him, his purpose was done. They beheaded him. The interesting thing with God is you will not stay 1 minute after your assignment is done. I personally believe that everybody, whether you know it or not, you fulfill your purpose. Your identity will live itself without you knowing. I mean, did Joseph pray to discover his identity?
No.
Problems, jealousy threw him into his purpose.
Wow.
It was already said, right, that for 400 years, God's people will be held in captivity.
He had already prophesied ahead.
Joseph was the one that would bring them. He didn't know. He had a dream as a little boy. His brothers bad-bellied him. They put him into a pit. They sold him to Potiphar. Do you know why? Because Potiphar was a minister for Pharaoh. There were two parts in the prison. A part in the prison where the commoners go, another part in the prison where anybody that offended the king or anyone that worked for the king goes. That's why he was sold to Potiphar.
So that he gets into that prison.
So that he gets into the prison with the butlers. The same part of the prison.
So, Doc, let me pause you. So what you're trying to say is that everything is part of the puzzle.
Yes.
Even when it's very negative.
Everything.
Even when it crushes you.
Everything.
It's part of purpose. You're living it.
Look, Joseph was in purpose. Even though he didn't know he was in purpose. The minute he dreamt, he was in purpose. Who gave him the dream?
God.
Oh, God, eh? Now, who sold him?
His brothers.
To Potiphar. So they had to bad-belly him. It was part of the plan. So they sold him to the Midianites, who did business, or Ishmaelites, who did business with Potiphar. Now Potiphar bought him, right? And then Potiphar loved him because he brought grace and prosperity into his house.
True.
Potiphar gave Joseph, right, administration rights in his house. Then his wife liked him. Good boy. It wasn't once that she hit on him. Many times the boy would say, no, I can't. Until the day the agro caught her and she tore his clothes.
And he still accused him.
Away. He ran. Because it was time for the next phase. You know, purpose unfolds in phases and in stages. So, you are in purpose at every stage.
Wow.
Whether it's in the house as a little boy, as favorite, whether it's in the pit, whether it's in Potiphar's house
or in prison.
Now, he had to go to that part of the prison because that's where he will meet the butlers, where he interpreted their dreams. And then he tried to use long leg. He told them, don't forget me here. When you people go out, find a way to get me out. It was not yet time for him to go out. And that was not the way that God had written it. On the day and the appointed time, that was his time.
Because they forgot him.
Of course. They forgot him, but the one that created him
had a plan.
For that purpose, had a plan. And on that day, he gave that Pharaoh the dream and compelled Pharaoh to look for an interpreter. Of course, nobody could interpret. Then the butler remembered. So I remember one guy in prison. He said, go and get him. Then they got Joseph. And they told Joseph, says, oh, give me time. Let me go back and talk to the Grand Master, the creator. By then, he had developed a personal relationship. He had owned his skills. You know, the same dream that sent him into the pit is the same dream that established him in the palace.
Wow.
Don't despise.
Wow.
Don't despise your gifts, your skills, your experiences, because that might be
your answer, your tool
of your manifestation.
Wow.
Now, Joseph was in Egypt. Then he called for his brothers. Then they came. And all Israelites followed him until all Israelites were in Egypt. And then the next Pharaoh, check this out. The next Pharaoh did not remember what Joseph did. How is that possible? It's not possible, because pharaohs are taught the history. You were alive when he saved the whole world. Joseph, you were alive. And you say you don't remember? What about your ministers?
Everyone forgot?
Yes, it's what I call divine amnesia. God blotted out everybody's memory so that the next phase, where the Israelites will be held in captivity, will kick in. That's the only way. You know? And there's a reason why they came. You know, we were the first people that enslaved people. We black people. You know?
Wow, really?
Where else? Where did slavery start? The Jews came and they were slaves under us, no be so. In Egypt.
Ooh.
Yes. Egypt is Africa now, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Who are Africans? Black people.
Yeah.
Look, God, I'm talking about identity. The problem of Africa is a lack of identity. That's where we're perambulating. Because we used to be the number one in the world superpower. We controlled architecture. And have you ever been to Egypt?
No.
You must go. You must go. Wow. Yeah, the pyramids, I wonder. They're one of the 7 wonders of the world. And I'll tell you the reason why. What's the highest building you've seen? Tallest building?
Maybe the Burj or
the Burj.
The Burj, yeah.
Okay.
I know there are a couple of other 40-something, 30-something story building, yeah.
All right. So imagine that height, and you know, the same dimensions, length and breadth. That's the base of a pyramid. Each block is probably the size of this room. Each block of a pyramid, and then they cut the block and align the blocks to create a perfect pyramid. The dimensions of a pyramid, right, is a specific fraction of the circumference of the earth. Exact specific. So if you measure the dimensions of a pyramid by a specific number, it gives you the dimensions of the circumference of the earth.
At that time?
Yeah. So just picture how, and there's not just one pyramid. Picture how black people, Africans, could create those edifices, and they are still standing
Till today.
Till tomorrow. Now, you see, we have lost all sense of identity, and that's why we're struggling. That's the problem with identity. If you lose your identity, if you do not know who you are, what you are, why you are here, how you are here, you've lost it all. That's why it was the most important, profound lesson that Jesus taught. Have you noticed that Jesus gave them different identities?
True.
Because their essence was their identity, not the names that the parents gave them. It told Peter in that moment, when he asked him, "You are the Son of the living God." And then he told him, "Wow, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven." Then he began to share with them what happened to him. And Peter said, no, Master. No. The same Peter, in the same 2 minutes, says, "Get thee behind me, Satan." I thought the Holy Spirit just ministered to you.
How did you become Satan's instrument?
Satan to just minister to you. So you have to be careful when we're talking identity, right? Who you are listening to.
Wow, because if you listen to the wrong person you define yourself as something else.
Yeah. So if you are listening to social media Are you listening to your parents? Are you listening to your friends? What are you listening to define yourself? The only true definition of your essence or identity is the one that created you. I said, Samsung does not define Apple. Techno does not define the iPhone 14. No. It's the manufacturer that defines it. You know, and that is very, 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 very key. The source of your intel.
Mm.
Now, can two work together except they agree?
No.
You know, if you do not go into an Apple store, you cannot get the original Apple with the Apple's warranty. No, so.
Very true.
When you can get third party.
But without the warranty.
Even that third party is connected to source. It's either you are a distributor or a dealer. But if you go and buy from someone that bought, you will not get warranty. So if you want the warranty of life, you have to be connected to source.
Your source. Mm.
So we're not preaching any religion. We're saying that for you, you know, to fulfill the essence for which you exist, you need connection to source. Look, any device has to be connected to a source of life. This mic now is connected. My wristwatch has battery or uses my body's pulse. Right? Me, I am breathing. My TV is connected. My phone is powered. Anything that exists is connected to a life force and has an identity. Let me repeat that. You are not permitted to exist without an identity.
Wow.
There's nothing on earth. That's why when God created every single thing in the Garden of Eden, He took Adam to meet everything. Said, give them their identity. That's Adam's first assignment.
Mm.
Give them their identity. He looked at lion. You are a lion. He looked at elephant. You are elephant. He looked at crocodile. Say, you are crocodile. He looked at the eagle. Say, you are eagle. Wow. The most important thing to exist legitimately on earth is your identity.
Wow.
That's why many people struggle.
Yeah. Talking about struggle, Doc, why do we struggle? Yeah. Why is it hard to... Why do we struggle? Why do we... So I'm going to put it together. Why do we struggle? Why do we settle for less? And then, I don't know if I should mix this. How does our childhood trauma, our upbringings, our exposure, how is it linked? How our character flaws, how are they linked? Our triggers, our responses, our actions and reactions, how are they linked to our identity? The reason I asked that question was personally, I would say that I found more self-control when I started to work in purpose, or when I started to show up more authentically. One, but self-control was not the only thing in my gift box, but that was awesome, you know. I found more self-control. Then I realized I was less triggered. That was part of the thing, emotionally, that was part of the things in the gift box, less triggered. So the kind of things that I would give my power to, the kind of things that events that will happen where somebody else's or some event I can't control would have the power to make me unhappy for hours, for days. Finding my identity took away that power from those triggers. So having realized this, that's why I'm asking this question. That's what has led to this question. How does all of this join together? Our triggers, our responses, our upbringing, our exposures, and why do we agree? Why is there so much tussle? And then the answer is settling for less. Okay, let me let you, and I'll talk about settling for less, especially as ladies. So a lot of times I hear people say, as a lady, you know, you have a good job, you have children, you have this and that, yada, yada, yada. Why do you want more? It's always like, it's a crime to want more. It's a crime to have a voice. It's a crime to push. It's a crime to live more than how society or culture expects you to live. Once you step out of that box or that circle, you're looked at as something else. You know, it's not welcoming.
So this is a very deep conversation. Your background, your history, your environment, your mindset, your beliefs, the things you hear, the things that you focus on,
the people around you listen to,
your environment. So all of those things influence, everything. So you don't exist in isolation.
You don't exist in isolation.
You are a social, psychosocial being. We are all products of influence.
So that's what you mean by psychosocial being.
You influence yourself by the way you think and how you perceive things. You are influenced by the things you take in, internalize. Now, your imagination limits you. What you know
limits you.
Limits you. What you don't know
also limits you. So you're not safe when they say, "Oh, you're better off with what you don't know."
No, because what if that's what you need to know to go to your next level?
Wow.
The people you hang around either limit you or take you to your next level. Your parents, God bless them. They knew what they knew, but their time is different, and their beliefs and values can never take you to where God wants you to be. You are better scrapper than they taught you.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. The software that runs our lives, our values and our beliefs, those are the programs that run our life. And we inherit most of them from our parents.
Wow, genetically transferred.
It's environmental. You pick up values and beliefs. They are the software programs that run your life.
Subconsciously.
Yes. 95% of everything that you do is subconscious. And there is something we call the reticular activating system. The key that opens it. That's the door between your conscious and your subconscious mind. The key that opens it is your beliefs and your values. So if you, God forbid, you've been written and destined to be a billionaire, and your parents are paupers, and they've incorporated into you that anybody that has billions is a thief.
Wow, that alone can stop you from manifesting.
Says the software that's running you.
Wow.
Everybody that is a billionaire is a thief. And if you are my son, you remember the son of me. So your friends are working in an investment bank, your friends are chasing $1 billion deals. You're wondering why you're self-sabotaging.
But you can't do anything about it.
Stepping out to markets. You're wondering why you're struggling. You're wondering why you resign. Take less. A job that keeps you in the office. Maybe just in the office doing project management. Earning a salary, living a comfortable life. Meanwhile, you are destined to be Dangote. But for parents, they can't get rid of that rubbish value.
Talking about getting rid of rubbish value, I wouldn't say I wouldn't even define this as getting rid of rubbish value, but I'll rather say one of the secrets I found out is it's a secret people are hiding. I don't know if I should share. Life is limitless.
Yes.
Life is limitless. You are
anything.
You can be anything. Do you know the wonderful thing? At any time. So nothing in life, no moral bounds, nothing bounds you to continue showing up as something forever.
Yeah.
Only you.
You know, look, let me get you to understand what this is. It says, if only you can believe,
It's in the Bible.
then anything
It's possible. Wow.
to him that
Wow. Equal to life is limited.
You don't understand.
Wow.
So at the heart of all possibilities is a fundamental belief. If you can find the belief, like the Wright brothers found it and created the airplane, you will do the impossible. Do you understand what I say?
Believe.
He did not say if Christians believe.
If you, whoever is you.
Anybody, anybody, Bill Gates,
Oh my.
Beyonce, the
Anybody.
anybody. If only you can believe, then all things are possible to him that believes. Wow! For me, it's the most profound statement I've ever heard in my life. Now, it goes on to even further elaborate. In Genesis 11, they were trying to build themselves a tower that reached up to heaven. It says, anything that man imagines to do cannot be stopped. A combination of your imagination and your beliefs is unstoppable. So, the biggest problem I found with humanity is we have stopped dreaming.
Ooh.
We have stopped visualizing, we have stopped imagining, and we have stopped believing.
We've stopped believing.
Yeah, we have
In
stopped
fact, we
believing.
subconsciously kill our own dreams.
We have stopped believing in what we're
Self-sabotage.
supposed to be believing. So this is what we have now done. We have now replaced it with our reality. I believe that this world is limited. I believe that there are witches and wizards. I believe there are demons on Lagos Department. I believe that there are blood-sucking demons from my village that are going to stop me from living my dream. I believe. So I can't imagine myself moving out of this one-bedroom house in a better Akomonjo. I cannot imagine myself living in Banana. I can't visualize it. Can't. Why? Because you are conditioned by your environment. If you grew up in a one-bedroom apartment, the tendency is that you will remain like that, except you break free.
And the breaking free is from inside.
It's
It's from your mind.
That's why the Bible says that do not be conformed to your reality.
You said something from the beginning that everything you're going to say is in the scripture. I didn't know how I was going to add up to having a conversation about identity,
The
but
Bible is so smart.
wow.
It's a book of codes and principles. It's a book of codes. It says, do not be conformed to the reality around you, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. That is, replace the pictures, replace your imagination, replace your beliefs with great and mighty things. Didn't he say that great and mighty things you would? Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
Do you know how many miracles did Jesus do for correcting eyesight?
For sight. Bible scholars.
Maybe two.
I remember the one with sand and saliva.
Opticians. How many surgeries?
People,
have you guys
uncountable,
done since
uncountable,
Jesus? Do you
uncountable.
know how many miracles you guys have done?
Wow.
But we're thinking about miracles only from the perspective of when I lay hands. Excuse me. Medical science.
It's a miracle.
Miracle. When they give you a new heart and a new lease of life, that's a miracle. Manufacturing a car, it's a miracle. An airplane that moves you from Lagos to London in 6 hours. Manufacturing a ship that floats. Didn't he ask Peter to walk on water? Didn't he sing? Then we manufacture that whole Titanic that floats on water. Miracle. then we can fly. Miracle. What are we talking about? Our problem is what we're equating to miracle. The times have changed. Times have changed. So the things that they deemed and wrote or thought were miracles then, right?
We can't even appreciate that we have more than that.
We have much more. We have done much more. But we despise science. Science does not create anything. Science does discover what has already been created.
Wow.
And documents it.
Wow.
People fighting science. Science validates God. Science is simply finding out what is, documenting it. That's all. So that if you follow the protocol, you can reproduce it. That's science. That's science. Science does not create anything. You only document what's already been created so that you can have understanding. Science did not create gravity. Science did not create the sun and the moon. Why are we fighting astrologers? Why are we fighting astronomy? Did we create it?
No.
After excuse me. After all, when Jesus was going to be born, who did God reveal it to?
Exactly. They were not born again. Astronomer, yeah, they weren't even the people who the Hebrews or the Jews who practiced read the books of Moses and all that. They were just the people we castigate now in our days.
Yep. So the people that could read the stars. You know, the Bible says that all heavens declare the glory of the Lord. Right? There's mysteries that are hidden in them. There's still elements of this universe. There's still mysteries in this universe. There's still mysteries about God. That is the stars that will reveal them to us. It is the moon that will reveal them to us. It's written in scriptures, and the scriptures cannot be broken.
Yeah, so we're not reading the Bible correctly. We're just speaking whatever has been handed over to us. So, wow, I mean, I said it at the beginning that I was already excited. Doc, let's talk about healing. How do we heal this identity crisis? Because it's almost a pandemic. We're all showing up. Doc, we're all showing up. But what we're manifesting on the outside is not what is inside. A lot of people are living their 24/7 based on other people's expectations, and they don't even know it. It's subconscious. We don't even know. A lot of people are chasing dreams, chasing money, chasing what they term as happiness. Not because it's going to bring them real happiness or fulfillment, but they don't even know if they're doing it because of the pew, the masses, they applaud. How do we start to heal? You know why I'm very interested in healing. Now, like I said to you, one of the things I've invested in myself in the last 2 years has been crazy. Knowledge. Not necessarily because I want to use it to earn or I want to use it to for some certification or whatever. I started to invest in knowledge when I started getting excited about my identity and whatever. Just like you said, you start searching and you start searching in the right place. Now, for me, I realized that what I thought was generational patterns or generational cycle is not what it is. Not even according to Bible standards.
Yeah.
A lot of generational patterns have been passed down from generation to generation, not as a curse or an ekpe. It has been because somebody didn't show up properly, somebody didn't heal properly, so they couldn't manifest themselves healthy and whole enough to raise the next generation. So our traumas, our hurts are a product of a parent who didn't heal properly, a parent who didn't find themselves, a parent who showed up doing what they thought was best at that time with whatever knowledge they had. Immediately I realized that was what generational patterns or cycles were. I started investing in myself, if for nothing else at all, to make sure that I won't pass down my fears, my insecurities, my behavioral patterns to some innocent children who didn't ask to be born. So that's why healing is very important to me, not even as a woman now, as a man, as a being, as a man, as a woman. Healing for us is very important. That's the only way we can stop the next generation from manifesting the seemingly weaknesses we did, or even becoming better in every home, every individual. So how do we start this journey of healing and start breaking those patterns? Doc, let me share something. I think it was something that a podcast I listened to, and they were talking about how if you look at the sin Abraham committed, he lied. And when you look at his son, what did he do? The same lie, and about their wives. And somebody will say, oh, it's a generational pattern. I mean, the reason for this conversation is not to question anybody's belief, but this is how I say it. Isaac heard the story of his father. He heard how his mother was almost colobid or taken captive. And he heard the success story of his father was his father telling lies and saying that this is my sister. When his father did that, not necessarily did it save his father from the entire situation, but at least immediately it was a temporary solution. Now, even though Abraham did the right thing, or I won't say Abraham, God intervened and caused confusion in the king's mind, and he realized that, come, Abraham, this is your wife, and you lied to me. Now, he didn't pass that detail down to his son. So his son did not even understand the consequences, the reasons, all the behind the scenes, from when his father lied to when God intervened. And because he didn't have this consciousness, what happened? He did what his subconscious, that was his own immediate defense system. This is what I know how to do. This is what I've heard. And that's why he lied as well. So I feel like when we acknowledge where we are and when we start chasing healing, we begin to deliver the next generation from showing up that way. But now the question is, how? Where? You have been on this journey for long. You have been a tool in the lives of so many people that I will personally know, and I probably don't want to call their names. But what has been, let me call it your formula, or what formula has God given you as a combination of both spiritual and psychological or emotional intelligence to help people come out of this cycle and start to chase healing?
I mean, this topic is really deep because let's look at disease. Let's look at high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors will ask you if you have high blood pressure. Do you have a history?
Do you have a history? That's what we say. Have a
Yeah,
history. Yeah. Any chronic disease? Yeah.
So you say yes. My father, my grandfather. Wow. When I traced the real question they are asking, it's not a biological question. It's an environmental, psychosocial question.
Interesting.
Because the environment that creates high blood pressure is anxiety, worry, anger.
Anxiety, worry, anger.
When you panic, what happens to your heart?
Start racing faster.
When you're angry, what happens to
The
your
same
heart?
thing.
When you're anxious, what happens
The
to
same thing.
When you worry, what happens to
The
your heart?
same thing.
So if you keep worrying every day, you're putting your heart to
On the stress.
abnormalities, under stress. And there's something about the vital organs, they memorize. So it begins to memorize. Even your phone. That's why they say when you buy a new phone, charge it 100%.
Oh.
If not, it will memorize the way you charge it.
The
also.
limit.
And then that's the limit. Then after a while, it loses memory. Your devices, they lose memory. Then you have to, reboot. Now, it's not high blood pressure that they are passing from one generation to the other. It's the environment of anxiety, the environment of anger, the environment of worry. That behavior is what we are learning from great-grandfather to grandfather to father to son. You watch your father when you were 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old, he's always worried, anxious. It's telling you that that's how to live your life.
Wow.
So,
You're taking that information subconsciously.
subconsciously. But say that every child from between ages 0 to 7 is in an hypnotic state where he's mopping up everything that he sees in the environment. And everything that he takes into his subconscious at that age, he manifests it in his latter years. So the same way, we are picking up everything from our environment. That's why many people are struggling. That's why many people are failing. That's why many people are the way they are today. And it's important for you to first of all do an audit. If you want to bring change, audit your environment. Audit your history. What is the environment, the people, the situations, and the circumstances around you? What is the right environment that I need for my identity and my purpose? What is it within this current environment that will stop me from fulfilling my purpose and my identity? Change that. Because your environment influences your behavior. Then you move to the next level, which is behavior. What kind of behaviors must I change to fulfill my purpose and my identity? What new behaviors do I need? Which useless beliefs do I have? And I'm very intentionally useless. Because, there's certain beliefs and values that are not relevant to your own life. They may have been very important and relevant in your parents' time.
But not
to your parents' life. But in this dispensation, get rid of it, replace it. So what limiting beliefs do I have? What disempowering beliefs do I have? What negative beliefs do I have? Right? I need to identify them and change them. And then that leads to your identity, because it is your environment, your behaviors, your skills, your capability over time, your beliefs and values that shape your identity. And your identity delivers your purpose.
It's just been an exciting moment, and to round this all off, I have just one, maybe we like call it practical question for Doctor here, and it's the tussle between knowledge and practicality. And I think not just me, a lot of people have probably found themselves here. So a lot of times you start to get the knowledge. What's the formula that makes that knowledge turn into manifestation? What's the behind the scenes? So a practical example is sometimes I'm talking to people and I'm very excited, I'm very intrigued about their level of knowledge. Probably I even want to say something and I see that they even have a deeper knowledge on that subject than even myself. But when you look at their physical life, it's not manifesting. It happens with both our religious values, what we learn in church, and how we manifest. I was talking to you earlier outside the recording about the humanity of all of us and then the spiritual values. It happens with even how we show up. We wonder how a doctor who knows better is dealing with some habits that is messing up their whole health system. So bringing it back to identity, what's that part where somebody has gone through all the coaching sessions, somebody has been given all the necessary books. Why can't I manifest? What's happening? Is it just about imposter syndrome alone, or what's missing in the equation?
I'm going to speak to two dimensions. The first is I said that information is of no use to anyone.
How?
Information. You said it. They have the information, but it's not manifesting anything there. Information is to move from just information to revelation, personal revelation. If it doesn't, forget it. It's just information. How does it become revelation? Right? You begin to visualize that information. You begin to meditate
on that information.
You begin to brood on it. You begin to internalize it. You begin to probe and ask, How can I apply it? You begin to see yourself living in the reality of you living in it. You meditate on that every day. You visualize that every day. You know, I often say that which you behold, you become. Do you know that God told Abraham so many years that you are the father of many nations?
Yeah.
Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham.
Oh, yeah.
Was
I
it-
wonder how he held on.
He kept telling him, Abraham, Abraham, Abraham. If it's the information you hear alone, Abraham would have been better. Sarah would have been better. It wasn't only about information. God realized, I need to take him to the next stage. Visualization and conviction. So God took Abraham out and showed him the stars, the sky. So that's how many of your children will be. Eyes were really open. He had been hearing, Father of many nations, but he saw it. And the Bible says that Abraham believed, and it was accounted unto him for righteousness.
Wow.
God had been saying, you've been hearing information, you've been, marinating information. You are not visualizing it. You can't see it manifested in your life. You can't believe it. Hence, you can't act on it. So, Abraham had access to information until he visualized it and it became his own revelation. It did not become a conviction that led him to take action. So when he went home, went to tell Sarah, this guy that had been impotent for years, went to tell Sarah, if something happened to you, something happened to you, something happened to you, I am not a correct guy. Sarah said, shut up, correct guy. You and I were all 100, you don't get action. So go and make a fool of yourself. Yeah. Take this out here.
Oh.
Oh yeah, now, should be correct guy. Yeah. It's not me going to embarrass. Go. And he got her pregnant. She did not believe what she saw.
Wow.
Many
So her
people-
unbelief made her push
Yes.
Hagar.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's how we settle for less.
She settled for less. And she's the one that's causing the problem on Muslims and Christians today.
Wow.
We are brothers and sisters. Do you know? We are brothers and sisters. Both of them are children of Abraham. Ishmael and Isaac. From the same father, from the same source. Why we fight? Why we fight?
For years, generations and generations.
But she did not believe until she saw. Many people are waiting to see before they believe. The Bible says that when you pray, believe that you have received it, then you will see it. Many people are praying and waiting to see it before they believe. Or if I say to you, I'm going to give you $1,000,
I believe it's already.
you will believe it, right?
Yeah.
But until it's in your hands, you will not believe it.
Yeah.
What God is saying is this: if I put the $1,000 in your hand, there's a way you feel. When you received it in your hand, what will you say to me?
Thank you.
When you pray and you have received it, then you will thank me. Have you heard Jesus' petition? No. Jesus, he sees it and he thanks God when he receives it, and then he goes into action. A case in hand is when he fed 5,000 people. So
Wow.
what do you do? Say we have 2 fishes, 2 loaves and 5 fish. You do bring. Father, I visualize that this one will feed 5,000 people. I believe. Thank you, Lord. Go and teach it to you. And as they went, it was multiplied.
Wow.
Many people
That's the
do not take
problem.
action
Yeah.
Many people do not meditate. Many people do not visualize. Many people do not believe.
Just information.
They
And
just take
information
information.
alone is never going to change your life.
That's why the Bible says that don't just hear us.
Alone, but be it doing. You said it from the beginning. Every principle and every answer to is in the Bible. Thank you so much, Doc. It's been very enlightening. Like I said to you earlier, this is what I feel light is. I'm a product of getting solutions, answers from people I don't know, people that I'll never know. Just because I heard somebody share some wisdom, I heard somebody share their story, I heard somebody allow themselves to write a song and sing it, somebody allow themselves to express a poem, somebody allow themselves to be light, to bring positivity. That's what makes me gets me answers, gets somebody else in another country answers, and this is what I believe is the essence of the journeys we find ourselves or the knowledge God gives us.